MSC says the World America will redefine the U.S. cruise experience, but does it really deliver? Watch this video before you book a cruise on MSC's newest ship. Stay tuned. MSC's brand new terminal is the largest cruise terminal in the world, a facility that can serve up to 3 cruise ships at the same time and process up to 36,000 guests in a single day. The building is equipped with advanced biometric scanners, including 18 face pods that passengers use to check in. My mom's scan was rejected because her photo was not uploaded to the app. Thankfully, it was a very quick fix. And aside from a brief hiccup, the process was incredibly smooth. We never had to stop once inside the terminal until we were on board the ship. Impressive, especially considering this sailing was completely sold out with 6,762 passengers on board. Wow. You will board the ship on deck 6 and walk right into the World Galleria. When you first see this area, it's a bit overwhelming with color. My initial reaction is that it looked just like you stepped into a live video game. We're going to go to customer service to see if we can change cabins since I'm traveling solo and my parents are together. And so hopefully we can get our balcony and inside cabin switched. Sometimes I'll book my clients in different cabins and have them switch once they're on board. There's a few scenarios where doing this can actually lead to some big savings on your cruise. With MSC, if you want to switch cabins, the process is pretty simple. First, head to your assigned cabin and grab your key cards. They'll be waiting right outside your door. Then go to customer service and let them know you'd like to switch. In our case, guest services was able to change our cabins with no problem at all. Just a quick heads up though, if you do switch, you'll need to track down your luggage since it'll be delivered to your original room. And on a big ship like MSC World America, that definitely added a little bit of extra stress on embarkation day for us.
Oh my God.
I originally booked an inside cabin, but then MSC sent out an email inviting guests to place a bid for an upgrade. The infinite ocean view stateroom immediately caught my attention. I don't typically use the balcony, but I love being able to see the ocean from my cabin, so this category with its floor-to-ceiling window seemed perfect. I placed a bid for $330, and MSC countered with a $380 for a more expensive deluxe balcony. I decided to stick with my original bid and ignore the counter offer. Surprisingly, MSC ended up accepting my lower bid, but upgraded me to the deluxe balcony anyways. Since I was traveling solo, I figured my parents could make better use of the balcony cabin. The cabins do have US electrical outlets, so there's no need to bring a converter. I've always liked the look of MSC cabins. They're modern and nicely designed. While I found this balcony cabin pleasant, I actually prefer the style of the older ships. For example, the cabin on the Divina during my last MSC sailing had a bathtub in the bathroom and much more space overall. By comparison, the World America has a walk-in shower and less counter space. And the bathroom setup in the balcony cabin and inside cabins is identical. And I found the storage space a bit tight, not just in the bathroom, but in the cabin itself. The bed was also too firm for my liking, but aside from that, the room offered plenty of space, and most importantly for me, excellent air conditioning for a good night's sleep. The ship is hot outside, but the inside cabin is really nice. The AC is working really well. Cabin is very roomy, very spacious, but there is a lot of wasted space, like this area right here where you can have a couch. Instead, you have a chair, and then there's a little section right here. You could have had something else, and again, it's just empty space. MSC World America is a large ship and often compared to Icon of the Seas from Royal Caribbean, but that's not really an equal comparison. The Icon class carries about 1,000 more passengers than MSC World America and does a much better job managing passenger flow and distribution. On Icon of the Seas, there were plenty of quiet spots to escape the crowds, something that's definitely more of a challenge on World America, where it often felt like there were people everywhere. MSC does have something exciting on the horizon though, the new Constellation class, which is expected to surpass Icon of the Seas as the largest ships in the world. But for a more balanced comparison right now, it makes more sense to line up World America up against Royal Caribbean's Oasis class. You'll notice plenty of similarities. MSC simply evolved the concept into its own Y-shaped superstructure, and it offers similar balcony exposure but with improved fuel efficiency and airflow. Let's take a look around the ship, starting with the pools. MSC World America has one large main pool right in the center, and as you can imagine, on a sold-out cruise, this area gets packed. On a brand new ships like this, where the ship itself is as much as the destination as the ports, you might want to plan your pool time strategically. If I'm spending a lot of money to go on a brand new ship and I go to ports like this where I've already been to a million times, I will take one of these port days to enjoy the ship all to myself. Here in Puerto Plata, look at the adults only section. It's absolutely empty. So if you want peace and quiet, this is going to be your best opportunity to take advantage of it. That's easy enough at most ports, but when we stopped in Puerto Rico, this just wasn't an option. We're in Puerto Rico at port, and normally you'd have some people at the pool, but the pool is closed today. Every time I walked by the main pools, I couldn't believe how festive and honestly a little chaotic it felt. And if you don't watch another second of this video, just know this. Festive and chaotic pretty much sums up the rest of my cruise on MSC World America. Thankfully, there's an adults-only area at the very back of the ship with two smaller pools. If you're traveling without kids, this is absolutely where you want to be. It's much calmer, the ocean breeze feels amazing back here, and you get these beautiful views of the ocean, something you can't get from the main pool area. If you want to escape the sun but still play in the water, the Botanical Garden Pool is the place for you. It features a semi-covered pool with a retractable roof in case there's bad weather. For our whole sailing, the roof was closed, and during the sea days, this place was just pure chaos with people running all over the place and maybe over 100 towels all over the floor. This area has a couple of hot tubs, but they were extremely crowded on sea days. Everyone was just packed in like sardines. And with the weather already blazing outside, the humidity in the space was intense. Personally, this is not the way I want to relax. So instead, I decided to head somewhere that was more my vibe. Oh my God. I love this so much. It is so hot outside, and to come in here, it just feels really good. Really, really, really good. The snow room is just one of several unique spaces inside the thermal spa, which easily ranks as one of the best at sea. And at only $120 for a 7-day pass, it's honestly a fantastic value. On port days, you can come and go whenever you like, but on sea days, MSC requires you to book a 1-hour session. At first, I was annoyed by that restriction, especially since it wasn't made clear when buying the pass. But after my first sea day, I totally understand why. The place just gets packed, and without limits, it would just be pure chaotic. And because you're watching this video and subscribe to this channel, you learned this tip. If you have MSC Gold status or higher, you automatically get 1 free hour per sailing in the thermal spa. And if you have status with any other cruise line, definitely apply for MSC Status Match program on their website. It's absolutely worth it. The salt room is designed to help with respiratory wellness, and to get any real benefit, you'll want to spend about 30 minutes inside. One of the things that most cruise ship spas offer plenty of are hot therapy options. And on the MSC World America, you have a eucalyptus room, multiple saunas at different temperatures, and even a steam room. What many ships don't offer is proper cold therapy treatments, but that's definitely not the case here. Oh shit! Oh my god! One of the most unique features at the spa is the set of alternating hot and cold shallow pools. You walk through them in a cycle, switching between temperatures. Something I've never seen on any cruise ship. A pretty cool experience. Wow. This is the World Promenade. It's one of the ship's signature zones. It's lined with shops, restaurants, and little pop-up moments of entertainment that make you feel alive every time you walk through. At the very back of this area, you'll find the All-Star Sports Bar. It's everything you want from a classic sports bar: burgers, wings, cold drinks, plenty of games to play, and more than enough screens to catch whatever matchup you're following. And just behind the bar is a spacious seating area at the very end of the ship, and honestly, it's one of the coolest and most peaceful spots on board. You can relax with a drink, unwind between activities, or even stage a mini photo shoot with the sunset as your backdrop. It's a vibe. Now, it's hard to be on the ship and not compare it to the Oasis class ships of Royal Caribbean. The layout in the back is a similar energy, but here's the big difference. On Oasis class ships, ocean views are very limited, especially with the Aqua Theater blocking much of that aft perspective. World America, on the other hand, opens everything up, and this place gives you sweeping, unobstructed views of the ocean. And because the deck sits closer to the water, those views feel even more dramatic and immersive. It's one of those spots that reminds you why people fall in love with cruising in the first place. Here's a few highlights from this part of the ship. There's a huge candy shop towards the aft, and honestly, it's probably the largest I've ever seen on any cruise ship. Just a heads up, everything in there is an extra charge, but I couldn't resist splurging on some gelato, and it was absolutely worth it. You'll also find a coffee shop with a fantastic selection of specialty coffees, perfect for a midday pick-me-up. And if you're planning to try the slide, they've made it super convenient. There's an elevator that takes you right back to the top once you're finished. And finally, don't miss the palm tree shows featured in the dailies. They put on a really fun light show each time. It only lasts one song, but it's a cool little moment before the next one begins. The heartbeat of the ship is the World Galleria. This is a vibrant 3-deck indoor promenade filled with shops, dining, bars, and entertainment. Above it is a kinetic LED dome, constantly changing with different displays throughout the sailing. It gives the entire space a modern, almost futuristic vibe. If you took a slice of the Las Vegas Strip and placed it on a cruise ship, this is exactly what it would look like. There's always something to see or do in this area. It's very energetic, lively, and truly the central hub of the ship. Now, a couple things to keep in mind. Seating in the main area is pretty limited, and one major inconvenience I ran into was during the evenings. We're trying our best to find a way down the stairs, but everyone's taking photos. Unfortunately, all the stairs are taken up with photography. You can't go up and down. MSC positions photographers at every single stairway, which makes getting around pretty challenging at night. For example, on this particular evening, if you wanted to get to the other side of the Galleria, you had to walk down the left side, go down a set of stairs, cross over to the right, walk back the same direction, and then take another set of stairs to finally get to where you needed to go. So just a friendly reminder, if you're planning to sail on the ship, pack your patience. You'll definitely need it at certain times of the night. Since 2016, MSC Cruises formalized a partnership with Jean-Philippe Marie, bringing his desserts, pastries, and chocolate-based creations on board selected ships. On MSC World America, this shows up as Jean-Philippe Chocolate and Cafe, and this is a chocolate lover's dreamland. You can have a custom chocolate bar made to your liking with different toppings utilizing this kiosk to customize your creation. These pieces of chocolate cost me $16. Another fantastic venue on Deck 6 in the World Galleria is the Luna Park Arena. This state-of-the-art multi-purpose space was buzzing with energy all week long on our 7-day sailing. There was always something happening here. One day, the arena transformed into an immersive VR gaming experience. On others, it hosted a variety of fun activities, making it easily one of the best spots at sea for daytime entertainment. And on the first night, Luna Park flipped into a full-on nightclub for the Miami Nights Party. It was such a fun way to kick off this cruise. Simply put, you will not run out of things to do on the ship, and Luna Park is one of those places that keeps the excitement going from morning to midnight. At the very end of deck 6, you'll find this intriguing phone booth. But it's not just any phone booth. It's actually the secret entrance to a speakeasy style bar. Originally, the only way in was to receive one of these special coins from the staff. The problem? Guests started taking the coins home as souvenirs and even listing them online, like this person who jokingly put theirs up for sale for $500. As a result, MSC has stopped using the coin system altogether. Now, entry is based on an invite list managed by the crew. And just a heads up, the drinks inside aren't included in the drink package, so expect to pay around $25 per drink. My parents did make it inside the bar and couldn't stop raving about it the rest of the cruise.
Oh my God.
Okay, what?
Let me tell you, it was awesome.
The show was awesome?
Awesome. Oh my God.
This is the gym project. Honestly, one of the coolest venues that I've ever seen on a cruise ship. It's 2 stories. Let's go look at it. Holy crap, look at this. Wow, what a venue. What is that?
Look, a bunch of Jesus.
Everyone needs a little Jesus.
But I have a bunch.
No, that's too easy. The most popular bar on the ship by far is the Dolce Vita bar, and with the majority of guests on board being Latinos, you can count on a constant stream of great Latin music. If you don't know how to dance to it, no worries, there's plenty of dance classes offered throughout the day. And if you don't know the words to a song, just pull out your phone and let it translate for you on the spot. My parents love to dance, so nothing usually gets between them and a good song, well, except maybe this one time. One of the things I really loved about World America was how balanced the entertainment felt between family-friendly fun and adult-focused events. And look, I say this as someone who truly enjoys Royal Caribbean. They're the gold standard for family entertainment, but their nighttime parties on most ships just don't hit the same way. World America, though, they absolutely nailed the adult nightlife. The silent disco was my hands-down favorite. I'm a huge silent disco fan, and I honestly can't think of any other cruise line that's come close to how much fun this one was. The venue played a big part in making it such a standout experience. And then, of course, there's the white party, which I'll dive into later in the video. Kids and teens have plenty of things on board, from an arcade on deck 6 of the World Galleria to deck 19 for the Formula Racer. A full-motion Formula 1 inspired simulator where you sit in a race car style cockpit. MSC Cruises has an official multi-year partnership with LEGO. As part of the relationship, MSC gets exclusive rights to offer LEGO-themed playrooms, branded toys and building stations, and special LEGO events on board. The top deck of World America is loaded with activities for kids, young adults, and people of all ages. There's a lot of activities for you to do at the back of the ship. Before you are able to do any of the rides, though, you need to get into this line and sign a waiver. They'll give you a wristband. Once you have the wristband, you can do all the different rides, whether they are paid for or not. The Harbor Aqua Park is a full water park right on the top deck, packed with slides, including one with a straight drop that'll wake you right on up. And for the kiddos, they've got their own dedicated splash area with a smaller slide that's perfect for them to play and cool off. Now, MSC describes the cliffhanger as the only overwater swing ride at sea, and me and my mom did this together and it was so much fun. The whole ride lasts about 60 seconds, and there's even a camera mounted on the swing. Now, I thought we'd be able to get a video of our ride afterwards, but I couldn't find that it offered anywhere on board, which was a little bit disappointing, but the experience itself was absolutely worth it. And then you've got the High Trail Ropes course, which definitely stands out. It's a 2-level ropes course that spans over 6,000 square feet, so it looks impressive from the moment you walk up. This one does come with a cost. I've seen it as low as $5 per person, but for the thrill and the views you get up there, a lot of folks feel it's totally worth it. And go in there. Go in there. Go in there. Oh. This ship is not the easiest to get around. Some staircases end abruptly, and you'll find yourself walking over to another set just to continue down a few more decks. I'm on my way to dinner, and tonight there's no signs stating where the dining room is at. They took them away. They're normally right here, and it says going right to go to dinner. The buffet, for example, spans 2 different levels, each with its own set of hours. I'll share more about the food a little bit later. The hallways outside the staterooms also don't have any directional markers, so it's easy to get turned around. I find myself relying on these digital maps throughout the week. You just scan your cruise card, and it shows you exactly where your cabin is. This is truly a lifesaver. I ended up using those maps every single day. You can choose from multiple languages, which is a great reflection of how many nationalities are represented on board. And that leads me to an observation about diversity on MSC. Because MSC is so popular around the world, you'll find one of the most diverse groups of sailors on any cruise sailing out of the United States. You're going to hear different languages, see different customs, and interact with people from all over the world, and honestly, that was part of what makes the experience unique. Now, with that diversity comes a mix of cultural norms. Some interactions may feel a little abrupt or unfamiliar, but most of what you're seeing isn't rudeness, it's simply different cultures sharing the same ship for 7 days. If you're an American, you might actually find yourself in the minority, and if that idea feels uncomfortable, then this might not be the ship for you. I had a client who loved the ship itself, but told me it felt too ethnic for them. Personally, I found the diversity refreshing. Being surrounded by so many different types of people was one of the highlights of the cruise for me. MSC Signature Casino and Bar is pretty spacious and has 282 slot machines and 15 table games. While much of the casino is smoke-free, there is a small designated smoking area for those who want it. The casino is located on deck 7, making it pretty central to the ship's flow. You might even walk through it on your way between venues as you make yourself to one of the coolest venues on board, the Panorama Lounge. The lounge has seating for 462 people. During the daytime, the lounge offers ocean wake views. The floor is interesting with an interactive LED screen. I was able to play around with fish as I walked around the floor. It was pretty cool. The lounge is also where the silent disco and other dance parties are held at night, as well as some of the major production shows on board. Cinesonic is a live musical production that features songs from different movies. I went back a second time just to catch the Star Wars segment, which I absolutely loved. The show ends with a finale from the movie Barbie. They asked for people to come up to dance. My dad had no issues being the first one up on stage, before the rest of the audience decided to join him later on. You can quickly browse the entertainment lineup as well as make reservations for shows using these kiosks found all throughout the ship. Dirty Dancing is the feature production on the ship. There's 2 versions. There's one where they play the full movie and add some dancing on stage. I didn't see this version, but I was told people were leaving during it. It was so long. You will want to make sure to catch the shorter version, which is strictly the live singing and dancing and runs for about 45 minutes. The lines to get into the main theater were definitely on the longer side. The first show, Odyssey, an acrobatic production loosely inspired by the ancient epic, was visually interesting, but for me it was just okay. Hall of Fame, on the other hand, was much more my style. It's packed with current pop hits from a variety of music legends, and the energy of that show really landed for me. There was also a magic show in the World Theater. It actually started off really strong, but a technical issue during the grand finale accidentally revealed how the trick worked. After that, it felt like the duo had to improvise, resulting in a pretty odd and unexpected ending. This is just a small taste of all the entertainment on board. There's no shortage of activities and things to do on the ship. While a lot of things on board do cost money, there's plenty of free entertainment to be had. MSC World America feels like an amusement park at sea. Let's talk about one of the most controversial topics when it comes to MSC, and that's the food. MSC first began sailing from the United States around 2008 out of Fort Lauderdale with the MSC Orchestra. They later expanded to Miami in 2013 with the MSC Divina, and then again in 2017 with the MSC Seaside. Throughout that early expansion, MSC didn't make any adjustments to their onboard experience, including the food. The menus were still much geared toward European palates, without many of the rich and indulgent comfort-style dishes that Americans tend to gravitate towards. Naturally, that led to a wave of negative reviews from US guests in those early years. It wasn't until 2023 that MSC really leaned into improving the food specifically for American taste. And now with the MSC World America being the first ship intentionally designed for the US market, you can genuinely feel the shift. Many of the dining options have been noticeably elevated. Now, this is only my third sailing with MSC and my first time doing more than just one of their quick weekend cruises. And honestly, considering the price I'm paying, I've been extremely satisfied with the food. To give you a sense of my baseline, I'm perfectly happy if the included food on board is at least on par with one particular buffet chain.
Corral, America's #1 buffet.
Food is always subjective, but in my experience so far, MSC's included dining has been far tastier than the consistently bland offerings I've had on Royal Caribbean. My favorite spot to eat on World America was the Luna Park Pizza and Burger on Deck 6. This is a quick service venue that is new to MSC. It has chicken tenders, burgers, and the MSC pizza, which many people think it's the best at sea. It was hit or miss for me at times. I didn't get to eat here until halfway through the sailing, and I'm glad I didn't because once I discovered these chicken wings, I couldn't stop eating them. They were so good. As I mentioned earlier, the buffet sits on 2 different decks as well as on both sides of the ship, which you can walk between sections via these walkways. At night, one of the buffets is closed for the yacht club, and I spoke to someone that was staying in the yacht club, and they said the yacht buffet sits empty at night. I assume if you're paying that much money for the yacht club, probably don't want to eat dinner in the buffet. Apparently they keep it open for overflow since the yacht club restaurant is at overcapacity. For breakfast, the buffet is as busy as you can imagine a ship carrying over 6,000 passengers would be. The buffet has all the American standards. I pretty much stuck to the same food the whole cruise. I was excited to see these coffee machines that make fresh brewed Americanos, but I didn't like the coffee from these machines at all. I actually like the regular brewed coffee they serve a lot better. This morning I decided to skip the buffet and do Hexagon dining. Hexagon is one of the 4 main dining rooms on the ship and where brunch was being served for our cruise. There's a full menu with items you won't find at the buffet, but I was disappointed with what I picked. I was hoping for better quality. Make sure to take a full lap around the buffet, especially at dinner, because there's some hidden gems tucked away, like a meat carving station and even an entire section dedicated to gluten-free options. One of my favorite discoveries was the guava danishes. These were incredible and instantly took me back to being a little kid in Puerto Rico. The desserts in the buffet I think are pretty solid for buffet desserts. And if you're trying to eat on the healthier side, you'll find plenty of fresh fruits, veggies, and lighter options too. One of the things I've really been impressed with is the amount of healthy foods and options that are available. The buffet is full of fruits and veggies, a lot of fruits that you would not even see. Yesterday they had pomegranate, this morning they had kiwi, and then there's this juice bar right here. The juice bar is always busy, always a lot of people. It's just kind of an indication of, how Europeans eat a lot differently. With so many healthy options on board, I actually felt motivated to eat better on this cruise than I usually do. If you're into specialty dining, this ship offers 6 different specialty restaurants. I rarely ever pay for specialty dining on cruises, and on this sailing I didn't try any of them. Instead, I wanted to experience what the main dining room would be like over a full 7-day cruise. You can check out the menus right from your table using the QR codes they provide. Since this is an Italian cruise line, I figured they'd shine when it came to Italian dishes, so I started with a meatball appetizer and followed it up with lasagna. I enjoyed both, and for dessert I had Mama's chocolate cake, which I absolutely loved. Overall, I enjoyed the majority of the dishes with very few misses. One thing I really appreciate is that the dining rooms have plenty of tables, so you don't have to share with strangers unless you want to, something you still run into on the smaller MSC ships. The big night on any MSC cruise is white night, and for dinner that evening we decided to go with the $20 steak upgrade. It was absolutely delicious, and with the upgrade our waiter loaded me up with bottled waters to take with me and took great care of my parents, which I truly appreciated. How much wine did they give you?
Almost 2 bottles.
2 bottles?
Almost 2 bottles.
With my parents liquored up, we made our way to the top deck for one of the biggest dance parties at sea, the White Party. It's almost midnight. I think my dad is drunk and lost. I'm gonna find him. It's 8:44, the morning after the White Party, and the ship is a ghost town. This ship was full of parties late throughout the night. I really love the Eastern Caribbean itinerary that the World America is scheduled on. You kick things off with a sea day to unwind, and then you've got stops in Puerto Plata and Puerto Rico. After that, you get 2 more sea days to relax and recharge before ending at one of my absolute favorite private destinations, Ocean Key. In Puerto Plata, I decided to stay on board and enjoy the ship. For Puerto Rico though, if you've been there before, I highly recommend taking advantage of the late time in port. Get off the ship in the early evening. You'll avoid the heat and catch the most beautiful views of Old San Juan as the sun sets. It's really something special. We did exactly that because we wanted to meet up with one of our relatives, and it made the stop even more memorable. When you get off the cruise ship, I recommend you take a left and walk west until you reach the US and Puerto Rican flags. From there, you can turn right and walk along the waterfront until you reach this red entrance known as Puerta de San Juan, the oldest and most historically important entrance to the walled city of Old San Juan, Puerto Rico. Once inside, there's a good chance you might run into some cats. But these are not just any cats though.
We think that the Spanish, when they arrived to Puerto Rico 500 years ago, that they decided to build the fortress and create a civilization in the city. They were aware of the amount of rats there were in the city. They began to bring cats to help that.
As you wander through the streets of Old San Juan, take a moment to notice how the shifting sunlight transforms the colors of the historic buildings. It's like watching the city paint itself in real time. Locals and visitors alike gather outside El Morro to soak in some of the most stunning sunset views on the island. After the sun dips below the horizon, head over to El Jibarito, a favorite spot among Old San Juan residents for authentic, affordable Puerto Rican comfort food. And once dinner wraps up, you're in for a treat. Magical stroll through the cobblestone streets as you make your way back to the ship with the city glowing all around you. Our final stop on this cruise is MSC's private destination, Ocean Key. I love visiting here, and the fact that the island is not overdeveloped makes it my favorite cruise line private destination. I did a full video on my channel of visiting Ocean Key if you want to learn about how to maximize your visit here. And with that, these are my final thoughts on the MSC World America. If you've sailed on other MSC ships before, just know this one is a completely different experience. MSC built this ship with families in mind, aiming to compete head-to-head with Royal Caribbean. If you're looking for a ship packed with things to do, and you don't mind paying for some of those extras on board, then the prices MSC usually offers, it's honestly hard to beat the value. There's something here for every age group. Now, MSC isn't for everyone, and neither is this ship. There are flaws. At the end of the day, you're sailing on a cruise line that's intentionally undercutting its competitors with very aggressive pricing. As a travel agent, I can tell you that if something goes wrong before your cruise with MSC, it is the hardest company to get anything fixed. But if you want a truly elevated experience, the Yacht Club continues to stand out as one of the best premium offerings at sea. For US cruisers who haven't sailed from international ports, you may experience a bit of culture shock. This is easily one of the most diverse ships sailing from the United States. And personally, I think that's part of the charm. After 3 MSC sailings, MSC has officially become my second favorite cruise line, right behind Virgin Voyages. And not because they're the second best, but because the value they deliver on entry-level fares is unmatched. Yes, there's plenty of opportunities on board to spend money, but if you're looking for an affordable cruise fix, MSC is hard to beat. I hope you enjoyed this video. A like and a subscribe is always greatly appreciated. If you have an upcoming sailing on MSC World America, I truly hope you enjoy it as much as we did. My video on Ocean Key is coming up next, so stick around for that. And as always, thanks for watching.